was the plan to go save Muerte, or we left him to get torture and all that wonderful stuff?
Well, I do have
I guess-
some connections. It depends on what we want to do next.
Well, we're going to get Muerte.
Okay.
I think that's the priority.
So we'll get the answers to all your questions will be revealed once we get started. So let's get started. Is everyone ready?
No,
Think
not
so?
now yet.
Really? Do you know does Prince Philip sing the national anthem?
I'm assuming as a patriotic UK citizen, he probably does.
Right, but the Queen is his wife, and the national anthem is "God Save the Queen."
Yeah, he's a
He's a subject of the
he's
Queen.
a consort of the Queen.
Is he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's a consort. I meant as a subject, though.
Yeah,
Is he
technically,
technically a
the
subject
Queen's
of the
over
Queen?
him.
Yeah, because
still
he's not
subject to the
he's not the king.
Right, but it used to be a monarchy before her father died.
Yeah,
He
but
still
she's
is.
the official monarch. He is the consort. So
Well,
I
she
think
would be a
it-
patriarch. That's why there's a difference between a monarchy and a patriarchy.
whatever the language you want to use, she's the official head of state.
It's
He
the
is-
same language.
So he's like the first lady. If the only comparable example to this country is he's the first lady. So it's more of a symbolic, I think, position than any
It's just a
political
weird
one.
situation. I mean, it's like the president's expected to sing during the national anthem, or not sing, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because the national anthem doesn't apply to the president. It's not a song about the president.
That's true, but like I said, my understanding is that she's the queen, and even her husband, who's technically the king, is a subject. He's not. His title is completely. I mean, technically, both her titles are completely figurative, although she has some technical powers.
Well, her importance to the country is as a tourist.
So
Trap brings tourists in.
she actually does have some minor powers.
Yeah, she
That
can
are
unite
still-
people.
And dissolve Parliament.
Yeah, she can also dissolve parliament.
Yeah.
Acid.
I'm pretty sure that kind of move, though, would not play over well with literally anyone, though.
No.
No,
The
they
Queen
don't.
reasserts control over the country by dissolving
The only
Parliament.
time they can do it is literally during a political crisis, when it's obvious that Parliament is about to be dissolved. But technically, she still has the power, so she could at any time decide,
Well, I'm tired of this shit.
yeah. They do live in that weird kind of gray area in their political system. But yeah, that's a funny situation to be in. All right, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome back, everyone, and welcome to the Dark Future. And so the scene opens up today. Muerte, you feel yourself coming out of unconsciousness. The first sensation you feel, though, is that you are completely paralyzed. You can't move a muscle. Everything looks kind of hazy and fuzzy. You'll probably know right away that there's a whole bunch of drugs pumped inside of you, which is what's causing all of this happening. And what you see currently is, at first you're not quite sure because it just looks like a bunch of bright and darkness. But as a little bit of your focus resolves, you see that you're in fact being wheeled down a corridor. It's very antiseptic looking and a lot cleaner than what you're normally used to seeing. And you see a couple of individuals with lab coats and the I forget what they call those mouth protect guard pieces over their medical nurse face masks. And these two guys are rolling down you, and they're basically just doing their you could tell these are like normal grunt worker types. So they're just talking about like what they see on TV and what did they do last night. And as they wheel you into the room, they put you down in the corner, and one of the guys from the corner of your vision, you see one of the guys walk over and look at a clipboard, and he's just like, shit, did you get the baseline that they requested? And the other guy's like, no, man, I haven't gotten the sample yet. They said they were supposed to wheel it in this afternoon, but we only got this guy. And so they go back and forth for a couple of minutes, like, God damn it, they always fucking up the requisition orders, and I keep telling them that, we got a schedule to keep, the doc, he doesn't like any fucking delays. He goes, yeah, man, I saw he fired the last 3 people. And so they look around and they go, what about this guy? And he goes, I don't. It's like, does he even qualify for the baseline? And one of them looks over and he pulls over like a data screen and he goes, oh, he's former military, and he seems to have been under the knife a few times. I'm like, fuck it, why not, right? I mean, the rest of the people are just street urchins half the time, so what's the big deal? And he goes, yeah, I guess you're right. And you see them start working over your body. They put a bunch of sensors on the top of your head, and they start running their machines and whatnot. At least you hear it from the peripheral of your vision. And after a few minutes, they're like, okay, this is it. We got something. So now we don't got to worry about it. And a few minutes later go by, and the door opens, and you hear 2 individuals walk in. They're having a very heated discussion. One guy has a very kind of professional, clean, crisp voice. The other guy, you could tell right away, he's a street thug. He's just totally slangy and foul mouth. And so that voice picks up, and he goes, God damn it, this is going on way more, this is becoming way more complicated than I agreed to. He goes, you sell me these bad fucking drugs, I got my customers dying left and right, I got strangers hitting my locations that are paying me protection money, and now you want me to steal more people? And the doctor's like, listen, he goes, I pay you a lot of money to do what I ask you to do. I don't expect complaints. I expect results. Results are all that matter here, Mr. Sanderson. And when he hears that, he goes, God damn it, I told you to call me Ripper. My name is not fucking Sanderson. He goes, your little quaint vernacular idioms are of no concern to me, Mr. Sanderson. He goes, I sent you on a specific job. He goes, as of right now, you're not meeting the quota, and consequently, you have not delivered the special package that I requested. So you hear like a creak of a chair as someone's sitting down. He goes, I really can't see why I need to continue this present business relationship with you. And he goes, if you're not happy with the products that I'm delivering to you, you could find someone else. And at that, he's just like, fuck you, man. He goes, you'll get your fucking bodies. And he goes, and you can come by this afternoon and pick up that piece of shit tech that you've been having to hold for months. And then he storms out. And you hear the chair creak over for a couple of minutes, and you hear the voice just tisk tisk, like, can never get good help these days. And the 2 other technicians are like, what are you going to do, Doc? He sounded pretty serious about what he was saying. He goes, I'm not concerned about him. He goes, it may be time to terminate that particular business relationship. He goes, and he looks over and he goes, He goes, I wonder why he's so desperate for this person. And he looks over at the data screen and he's just like, interesting. So this was the individual. He goes, and you see at the corner of his eyes, I will give you the description of the man so you'll know who's talking to you. Where the fuck is this information? I know I had it here somewhere. So here you go. I will put it on the Discord chat. The individual who is now staring at your face, Muerte. And he's just, and he goes, have you got my baseline readings? He goes, and you see the 2 guys, you hear the 2 guys nervously like, yeah, this is what we got. And you see him pull over the data screen and he's looking over and goes, wait, is this accurate? He goes, run these numbers again. And he goes back and he's really examining your face carefully. And the scientists the other 2 technicians are sitting there and they're furiously going over, and you hear the computer beep and move over, and then you see another result. He takes a data pad over, and he goes, "Amazing! Wow!" And he looks over. He goes, "I guess you never realized how special you really were. Who would have thought?" He goes, "The chances of finding two people with the exact same brain pattern." He goes, "Prepping for surgery." He goes, "What?" He goes, "Prepping for surgery. We'll use him to calibrate the device. That way we won't risk destroying the real sample that we want to experiment on." He goes, and get me Miss Prudence on the phone right away. And you see him walk out the door. And then with that, you see one of the technicians walk over, and you feel the jab of a syringe, and you go back under again. And so the scene now jumps back to Henrik. He is, I'm assuming you're back in your apartment.
Yes.
Kitty, because you're all constantly managing Henrik's social media feed, so obviously you pull up any information that's relevant to him. Once again, there are scattered reports that an incident happened down by one of the arcologies that have been abandoned in the combat zone.
Yes, the building that we were. Yes.
Yeah. And so fortunately, once again, there aren't any direct images or any witnesses who identified you specifically. And yeah, so far, at least this one has not moved up to the radar of anyone attracting attention.
For now.
Or at least for now.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. And as you're combing through all this, like I said, right now, opinion is kind of split 50-50. Half of people, the last release of the video that came out had somewhat of an impact on his social media standing. So a lot of his diehard fans and a few of the people that were on the fence are like, yeah, that Henrik guy's okay. There's still a very... And so, but there's still a vocal minority of people who are actively dissing and
No, that's not
defaming Henrik's. Although there doesn't appear to be anything official from any like corporate sponsored people, as far as you can tell. So far so good. You've managed to at least abate some of the hatred against Henrik. And while you're discussing all that, Henrik, you get a call from your mother. Your mommy's call.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yes, I will answer.
And so she picks up the phone. She's like, "Listen, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna be quick about this." He goes, "I got your message," and I go, "I did some digging, and I'm like, I'm gonna level with you. These Tricom guys, they're serious business." And it goes, "If you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, that's near suicide. And it's not even an issue of whether my company will be able to withstand the attack or not. They will kill you if you do what you say you're going to do." He goes, "But I think I got a solution that might help you." Just so happens I was at the social club the other day, and like I said, I told everyone that you were participating in this charity event. And
I guess some didn't really like that idea.
Yeah, a lot of them were really, really surprised and curious. But strangely enough, one of my he's not a really direct associate. I've done some minor businesses with him, but when he heard that you were going to be participating in this charity event, he was super, super excited. He's actually said he wanted to meet you. He even mentioned that he wanted to be part sponsor. And so
what is his name?
And so, oh yeah, his name is Lucius Maddox, and he is the CEO. Hold on a second, I will give you that information. It will be in Discord. He is the head of Soteria Corp.
How does he look like?
I guess you can get a picture of him within a couple of minutes. Could say Kitty pulled up some basic information.
Yeah, I would.
Here's the wiki article.
I would have told her the name.
And so what you find out is that Soteria Corporation is a very, very obscure corporate holding, not a corporate holding company, but a corporate entity. They don't have a lot of press, and they don't seem to have a lot of activity as far as you can tell. They seem to be, and then Muerte, I can see it on my screen. My ping keeps jumping from green to yellow. And so what Kitty can determine is that they are a biotech firm. They do sort of really high-end, bleeding-edge medical research, primarily associated with cybernetics. But they don't seem to be a very public company. They seem to just be sort of subcontracting to other corporations to do sort of specialized research, and that's about as far as you can get. The only other news that you can see is that Mr. Maddox is a philanthropist, and he does donate a lot to charitable functions and does a lot of philanthropy work in the combat zone. And so your mom tells you, Henrik, that Mr. Maddox has scheduled an appointment to see you, and that you need to call a number for him to arrange pickup.
You could just have sent me an email. I have someone to check that for me.
Well, she says,
He's on the sideline and just like whispers into your ear. It's like he's trying to ask you to do something. He's looking for favors.
She goes, yeah, he's kind of weird. He's kind of a weird dude. He doesn't do things the standard way. He specifically told me that he wanted me to tell you personally, not send you an email or anything like that. He's kind of a bit of a paranoid type.
I guess who's not these days?
Exactly. So yeah, he told me to tell you that he wants to schedule an appointment and that to contact. She forwards you a number. She says, call this number to arrange pickup, is pretty much what he said. So I really think you need to listen to this guy. And I really think you need to reevaluate your strategy because it's a suicide mission is what you're planning on.
That wouldn't be the first one, neither the last one.
Well, I'm your mom and I love you.
Yes, I know.
And I don't want you to kill yourself unnecessarily.
Yes,
okay?
I know.
I didn't. I was like, did none of that college education rub off on you? Can't you be at least a little tactical and strategic?
Well, I'm missing key people. I'm missing my bodyguard. I'm trying to get information of where he could be hauled off. And I'm sure
I can't help you on the information part, but if you need a solo, I got a guy that I can call who would be willing to help you. I'll lend you his services.
Is he trustworthy?
He's one of my top guys.
It's not that I don't want to accept. It's just that, well, I guess it's hard to say.
Well, just think about it. And like I said, I think you really need to talk to this guy. He was really, really excited to speak to you.
Yeah, I guess I would call him in some minutes, yeah.
All right. Well, if you need that help, let me know. I'll give you his number, and he could be there within a couple hours.
Sure.
All right, sweetie. Like I said, be careful and think about what your next step's going to be. All right. I love you, and hangs up the phone. Miguel.
Yep.
You get a text message from your guy, the drug dealer, and he goes, "I got some information, and when you're ready, give me a call, and I'll tell you what you need to know."
I answer right back.
So you make a quick phone call. Your dealer picks up online. They go, "Hey man, listen, I'm gonna give you the skinny real quick. I found the main warehouse. These guys are super paranoid, so apparently they have like a moving like a headquarters type of thing, so they never stay in one place. the same time. So tomorrow night, I will be doing the deal at this location, and he texts you, and you see an address listed. Like I said, my sources tell me these guys are super on like lockdown mode. So if you're gonna do anything crazy, could you at least wait until I'm done with my deal first?
Okay. That's
So
running my mind, boss. But sure, I'll see what I can do. But at least I can delay it. If there's any way, anyone that I know that if I see them exiting the area, I know you're done. You know something.
you know me and my crew. If you see our guys there going in and out, you'll know you should know when to wait. He goes, he tells you the specific time that he's gonna meet with the guy.
Oh, okay. Understood.
So we'll just say like 8 p.m. tomorrow. That's when his meeting is.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, all right, man. Good luck with all that.
Take care.
All right. So the phone hangs up. What are you guys gonna do?
I'm asking Kitty advice that should we take the solo?
Well, if your mother decides your career is better with her, I highly doubt that Solo has exactly one job on his tab.
Yeah, I know. Keep an eye on me, I know. And
Though, of course, sending him off to his death to go rescue ours would probably also be a bit of a faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to send him to his death. But
Well, there's no guarantee of that.
But I guess security could be helpful. It just I don't know if I can trust him.
I guess I walk in on this. It's like, listen, Henrik, I got some info. Remember my contact?
Yeah.
They say they're gonna meet in a warehouse. They have a mobile operation, and they're gonna be stopping by to meet with my dealer tomorrow night. So if we're gonna hit them, that might be the time to do it. He said, of course, to give him a window to get the GTFO, of course, because we know getting a good dealer is bad. Yeah, so
do we know if the girl will be there?
Well, if they're harvesting organs or using sort of a mobile brothel, I think they according to what I think he told me, said they have their own operation on wheels. So they stop, they do the thing, they move on. So, it could be 18 wheelers. It could be, I don't know what it could be, probably actually more like semi-mobile, moving to a place, fix it up for the night or two, run the business, and then move up again, A few pillows here and there, but the usual. Disgusting as it is, but yeah. There is, and I know how you do business and you don't like to deal with these kind of people, but there is another option that I have for backup. I know a few people that owe me one big favor. If I call it in, it could work, but these are not. Let's say that we're fighting fire with fire. You know what I'm saying?
And who are those people?
Yeah, they're the fast rollers. They're from up north, right on the border of the Free State. And they're a social club, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, if we plan to hit the meeting spot, I think we should have the most firepower.
Yeah, they're very peculiar. They like their suits, and they like to modify their guns to look like fashion guns, that kind of thing. Yeah. But they come in charging. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just brought back from life their old leader, right? I literally stabbed him with a never mind. I
That
brought him
doesn't
back.
sound great or inspire me with confidence.
Well,
But
they owe me.
a more pertinent question would be, why do you think bringing them in would be a bad idea on this? Wouldn't they just head
Well,
back off to wherever their territory is afterwards? Or do you
true,
think they'd
true.
stick around?
No, more like, I don't know if Henrik wants to be seen on camera with the kind of people that we usually are fighting against. See what I'm saying?
Well, if you go with it on propaganda basis, as long as you're taking out the enemy, then, well, it's all good, isn't it?
Well, if you
Just
can do
show
your
Henrik freeing some tied-up girl and escaping off into the night with an explosion behind him. Doesn't matter who's beside him at that point.
I mean, I guess you can massage it in a way that these are the the cool guys, right? They do crimes, they bust things up, but they have rules, etc., etc.
Let's be fair, we
guys.
do crimes and we don't even have rules.
Yeah, well, I guess I called them, and I'm going to. Oh, I'm going to send a. I'm going to send a text to my mother for the solo, and I'm going to call the Lucius guy.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Henrik. So you send a quick text to your mom,
Uh,
asking her, yeah, probably be a better idea for me to have that solo. She
Oh.
forwards you a contact information. Theta, what temporary name did you come up for this solo? Because you'll be playing this guy until later.
I don't know who you're talking about.
We talked about this.
No.
Yes.
Is it your Hillbilly?
Okay, there must have been some misunderstanding then. Hold on. So I've only been talking about one thing.
We're
Yeah, but
experiencing technical difficulties, everyone. Please stand by.
So anyway, I said that until we introduce your new character, you could basically play Muerte, just give him a different name and say that he's a corporate solo on loan to Henrik.
Well,
Is
that's
what I said.
disappointing.
Um,
Well, no, because I expected I was playing my new character today, because that's the way you made it sound. You sounded like Morte is going to be an NPC, and you can play him in the background, is the way you made it sound. That's why I'm confused now. I thought I was entering the game today. That's why I've been doing all this work.
You might, like I said, you might be, depending on how this plays out.
Alright, well, you call this guy, and he's feeling really suicidal today. He's got the gun in his mouth, and he's like, who is this?
Oh, like way at the gun?
Look, my partner just died in a sting gone bad, and I came home and my cat was dead because I hadn't come home because I was kidnapped and nobody fed her. Also, all my plants are dead. The toilet overflowed. I got water damage all over the place. I can't fucking afford that.
And my TiVo didn't even record my shows.
Turns out TiVo doesn't even exist anymore.
That must be why it didn't work.
And I've been paying that subscription for the last 20 years.
There you go. That's what you caught this guy in the middle of when you called him Henrik.
No shit. Yes.
Just so trying to figure out the right way to phrase this. Are we growing with that, or what are we doing then?
So, all right, I'm assuming, Henrik, that you called the contact number that your mom gave you for Mr. Maddox.
Yep.
All right. Within a couple of minutes of sending the message off, you receive a simple text and it says, "Be outside in 2 minutes."
Right.
And so in 2 minutes, as you walk outside your apartment entrance, you see a flying car come down and the door open up, and an individual in a black suit with a pair of sunglasses comes in and says, "Mr. Henrik, please enter."
Am I allowed to keep my guns?
He goes, as long as you're not threatening.
Well, fuck it, then. I say I'm gonna keep an eye on the guy in the black suit, and then I will enter.
All right. As you get inside the cab, you realize there's another individual in black
Oh
suit and
shit!
sunglasses. They're both seated strategically across from each other and within reach of you. They don't. Both of them have their eyes locked on you. I mean, you can't see through the sunglasses, but you can tell that
You're
you're
blind.
you're the focus of their attention. You see him pull up. He's got a little headset on the side of his ear. He goes, packages en route. And with that, the car shoots up, and you start to fly through Night City. You quickly leave your section of the city and go deep into the heart of the corporate control zone, in which the neons and the skyscrapers fly by you. You see the few other automated flying cars moving alongside you, and yeah, within a couple of minutes, you see that you see a building come up. It's rather nondescript, actually, kind of strangely for the corporate zone, because most corporate buildings are very garish with neon signs and a lot of
Yeah,
metal.
this one is dark and doesn't show really any
Well, not
sign
dark, but it's very nondescript building.
yeah.
It kind of blends into the background. You're actually kind of shocked because you know this part of town, and mostly anyone who buys or builds a building up here,
Mm.
they tend to make it as garish as they could possibly do it. But this one seems rather sedate, kind of normal looking for the area. And it lands down in the heliport landing pad at the top. And the one individual opens the door and goes, "Mr. Hendrik, please follow us."
Sure.
And give me 1 second. I need to speak to someone really quickly. Outside the game. I
Okay.
apologize, guys.
Okay.
As we enter the void of the outsiders.
I just fill the dead air with conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't understand why this guy has multiple guns. See, if I was doing that, I would, one bullet in one gun, put it all in the bag, shuffle it up a bit, but then I would just pull the trigger from inside the bag, so I don't know what gun I'm pulling.
Oh, fuck it.
So, I always got the feeling that he was waiting to die, but he's not quite committed to doing it himself.
Well, no, because he has the self-awareness to, put his hand beside his face because he doesn't want everything to go everywhere, but that's not going to help either way because your hand's going to get...
I know.
Turns out hand also made of flesh.
All right, so these two individuals, they walk you through the top of the building. You go inside. As you're walking through, you see a couple of administrative offices, and then they take you into an elevator. You see the individual pull out a key card, and he swipes down and presses a button. And then within a couple of minutes, the door opens up. You see now that you're sort of in a private office suite type of thing. Everything is decked out in really exclusive custom furniture. And it's one giant room with a very large desk at the end with a very typical view of the city in the backdrop. As you walk in, you see, Henrik, that the walls are lined with music memorabilia. There are instruments, there are albums, which at first you just like, oh, he's got an album on the wall, and you realize all the albums have autographs on them. And so as you're walking in there, the two individuals stop by the entrance of the door, and they go, "Mr. Maddox, your guest has arrived." And from the chair, you see the chair swing over, and you see Lucius Maddox, as described in Discord. He's a pale-skinned man. He's got an oval face, and as soon as he looks at you, he goes, "Mr. Henrik, Mr. Henrik." He goes, welcome to my office. He goes, "It's a big honor to meet you." And he gets up, he walks around the table, and he shakes your hand. He goes, "Please have a seat." He goes, "I've been dying to meet you."
Well, Henrik is going to sit as he's going to look at Maddox and say, "Well, generally, most corporate want me out of the picture, so normally."
Yes, I certainly understand normally. He goes, this is suffice to say, I'm not a typical corporate guy. He goes, I'm a minor acquaintance of your mother through the social club, and
Hmm.
she told me a little bit about what you were experiencing, and I did a little bit of a research on my own, and I think your interest and our interest align somewhat. And I was hoping to perhaps we could collaborate on something.
Well, what is your idea?
He goes, well, to be quite frank with you, to be quite frank with you, he goes, before we get into that, he goes, I need to ask you a specific question.
Go on.
He goes, why do you do those videos?
Well, to be honest, that's not the first time I got this question, but I feel kind of obliged to show people what I'm doing and what the city is really like behind the curtain, and what people do under their nose, and how the corporate doesn't do anything to stop them.
Very noble intentions indeed. I mean, I'm only asking because, having such a very public face on all that is certainly attracting you all types of negative attention.
That's not new.
And he goes, I was just wondering, like, you never contemplated having a persona, a disguise, a mask or something? I mean, I don't know if you grew up reading comic books, but I remember reading this very classic comic book called Batman, and he always wore a mask.
Oh,
And then, of course, he points over, he goes, and of course, you come from a long tradition of pageantry and costume. And he points over to the wall with all the memorabilia posted up there. He goes, just as he goes, as much as I'm curious as to what we could do together, I'm kind of concerned because I don't know. He's like, I'm a very private person. I don't tend to put my business out on the street per se, and I'm wondering whether or not it's worth the risk me helping you.
well, I guess I'm in the same boat then. I don't normally do any collaboration with corporate.
I
To be
know.
honest, it was the first time that I really spoke with my mother since I think 4 years or 5 years.
He goes, well, listen, this is not. This is just. I'm just letting you know that this is just a strictly professional opinion. I mean, I personally, your video for the last battle, um, was absolutely amazing, and I really love that skit you did with the knight, and I'm a huge fan. He goes, I've been following your career for a very long time now. I've just been curious as to why you haven't decided, why you've decided to not, not be a little bit more discreet in what you do in your off time.
I guess egos, I could say.
Ah, he goes, the classic, the classic rock star mentality. I appreciate, I dig it. He goes, well, he goes, would you at least contemplate having an alternate persona for your videos?
Oh. I will need to find a name, and well, I might already have the clothes in mind, but for the name, it's gonna be a bit difficult.
Excellent, excellent. Because I think I have a perfect situation that could benefit us mutually. I am actually interested in getting into the music game, and as such, through some financial maneuvering, I have acquired stake in a very small record label, and so I would like to sign you as my first act. And he goes, and I know you're doing this charity battle of the bands thing. I think it would be a perfect publicity statement for you to announce not just your record deal, but any type of music or anything that you're about to release uh, during the event. What do you think?
Mm. Well, Henrik is going to look outside as he put his hand together and cross his finger. As he he would look at the guy and say, "If you follow my career, you know that I try to stay away from doing business with corporation and the kind of that. That's how I did. Well, I started my career alone without corporate. It could turn really bad for me if it's. I guess it's a 50-50 chance that either my career will benefit from signing with you, or it could come, or it could go really wrong.
I totally understand. I completely respect your ethos and ideology because it's part of the reason why I've agreed to this meeting in the first place. You're not the only artist that I've spoken to, but as far as I could tell from my research, you're one of the few people that I would consider a genuine artist, and so I would totally respect the fact that you have a hesitancy. He goes, let me assuage that to you by giving you a tour of my facilities. He goes, so please come. And he gets up and he ushers you out of his office. Um, you get back into the elevator shaft. He takes out his key card and he swipes it down and he presses a button. You see the two security guards come into the elevator with you and goes, VIP is en route. One of them says, and he goes, "Well, let me just tell you a little bit about myself." He goes, I've been running this corporation for the last 10 or 15 years, and probably have not gotten, I'm not a very flashy person." He goes, but like you, I kind of feel that the corporations have done more of a disservice to the citizens of the city than a service, and so I have geared most of my business to help the people of the city. I'm mostly a biomedical research firm. Um, I work on cures for diseases, medical treatments, improved cybernetics. Um, and so, yeah, he goes, and then the door opens up. He goes, please come this way. I'd like to show you something.
Guess I will follow him. But
And so
I'm still on my guard.
fair enough. And so as he walks in, he explains to you that this is a sort of it's a slash treatment slash medical research facility. And so as you're looking through, you're walking through the hallway with these clear glasses. Everything is antiseptic looking, with a lot of data points everywhere. Whatchamacallit. He explains that in this particular floor, he's currently doing research on cyberpsychosis. And so most of the people in these rooms have been victims of bad cyber surgery and have all gone crazy, cyber crazy.
Be right back quick, sorry.
Okay. I feel it's looking as good as I look.
I was trying to find any fire marshal bill. You know, let me show you something.
Let me show you something.
Back.
All right, and so yeah, he explains that he's been doing research and trying to offset the effects of cyberpsychosis in a way that doesn't involve basically, stripping people from the cybernetics and keeping them locked up for months on end, and improving the success rate. And he goes, all of these people are getting treated for free, and in a humane as possible manner. You walk through, you see a very professional setup. You see doctors and nurses running around. You see people getting treated. No one seems to be suffering unnecessarily, as far as you can tell. He walks over. He finds you get to another elevator door, not the same one that you're in, and he comes in. He points you in. You go in. He swipes again. He pushes another button. You go through a couple of more floors, you open up, you're in another very similar medical research type of way. He goes, in this floor, I've actually been doing massive amounts of research and development in anti-pollution drugs. He goes, obviously, you probably more than anyone else, the horrible conditions that people get from living in the combat zone due to pollution and runoff and all that. He goes, right here, I've been developing several pioneer drugs that should offset some of those negative effects. And he goes, all this is done pro bono, and I'm only going to sell these drugs at cost. And he goes, I'm not particularly proud of this project. He goes, I've actually had the highest effect on the general population from it. He goes, unfortunately, the big major medical corporations don't like to admit my work, and so I don't get much press for it, but I've treated thousands and thousands of people. And once again, you see, this time, instead of people, being all twitchy and crazy looking, you see people with some pretty bad disfigurements, people who are obviously sick or weak. And once again, you just see a bunch of doctors and nurses running around taking care of people. No one appears to be suffering or restrained or anything like that. For her, you could tell it looks like a hospital in there, which from your corporate background is kind of unusual for a corporate facility. They tend to be more like prisons that do research versus an open place. And so he escorts you through this floor. He enters another elevator shaft, elevator room, kicks you on another floor, and this time you're back out in it looks like a lobby area, not the main lobby, but like kind of like a big meeting area. And you realize in a couple of minutes it's actually a cafeteria. And you see several corporate workers grabbing some food, sitting down. He actually gestures you over to a bench. And as he's sitting down, a couple of the employees walk by and he goes, Mr. Maddox, and he greets everyone by first name. So he's like, "Oh, Steve, how are you doing?" And how's your kid going? And and whatnot. And within a couple of minutes, you realize like he's not like most of the other CEOs that you've ever met. Not many CEOs knows every employee by name. And then within a couple of minutes of you two sitting down, one of the bodyguards comes in. They give you 2 trays. I mean, it's cafeteria food. It's very well cooked, but it's very normal, plain fare.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Please, share a meal with me."
So, what are you expecting of me if I sign the contract?
Well, like I said, I unfortunately, due to my position and certain business relationships that I'm forced to maintain, I can't be as overt as you are. But through this sub company that I've acquired, I'm hoping that I could extend some of my resources and some of my protections towards you, so you could be the face of my, the fist of my actions out in the combat zone. and I'll protect you, and you can protect the people of the city. He goes, plus, I'm a huge fan. If I could sign you up as my first artist, that would be a total win for me.
Mm.
He goes, he goes, part of my, he goes, I'm not going to, I'm not going to lie to you, Henrik. He goes, I do have a selfish interest in all this. He goes, I know that the Tricom Corporation has been leaning pretty hard on you and discrediting you. And just so happens that I have a history with them, and um, I would love to help you take care of that problem. And hopefully you can help me take care of my problem. But only if you agree.
So if I sign, you're going to, well, give me resource and protection, in exchange that if you ask me to do something to go in your favor, I need to do it.
Well, it won't be so onerous as that. I think you and I goals align enough that I don't think I will ask you for anything that goes against your morals. If you're serious about helping the people of the city.
I've been doing that since I left my home at 18 years old. I choose to leave the corporate zone to live like the people that is in the combat zone and the poor street.
And none of that has to change. You can still stay where you are. You can still do whatever you do normally. Like I said, I would probably give you some professional advice. And yeah, you would just have a record label that would promote your music and put you on tour. And we could use that as a cover for any time you need to do something on our behest, not just mine.
I guess even if I like it or don't like it, with Tricon, I'm gonna need some allies.
You most certainly do. He goes, Tricom is a very, very, very nefarious organization. He goes, yeah, I don't think you quite understand the gravity of the situation that you're find yourself in, Mr. Henrik. And I'm not
Like I
saying,
said,
and
egos.
I'm not saying that to threaten you or to scare you. I know, like I said, I have a history with them, and I know what they're capable of.
Hmm.
He goes, try the cornbread. It's really good.
Sorry. Uh, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, no, he's eating his meal, and he's like, yeah, try the cornbread. It's real nice.
Do you have a wife or some kid?
And he goes, unfortunately, due to the amount of time and energy and effort it took to create all this, I never had the fortune of being able to create my own family. Although I feel that everyone that works for me is part of my family, and I treat them as such.
I can understand. I'm treating my those that work for me the same way. I want them to be in the best, healthcare and situation. Mm, It's hard for me to turn a blind eyes when they need help.
Absolutely, you have to take care of your own.
Mm.
He goes, well, like I said, there's my sales pitch. He goes, I can offer you a record deal, and I can offer you some level of protection. He goes, and I think we can make really beautiful music together.
Where is the paper?
He goes, excellent, and he waves over to one of his security guards. They pull out a data tablet device and they hand it over to you. You see a very standard record contract. I mean, you can read it if you want, but as far as your initial scan, it doesn't look any different from any other record deal that you've ever seen.
Henrik look at the tablet like if he was like fighting two side of him, as he's not sure if you want to, but it's for his best interest. So, no, fuck it. As he's going to sign.
He goes, I can understand your trepidation, Mr. Trust me. He goes, I'll make sure that you don't regret this decision. He goes, come with me. And I get up, but he actually puts the tray in the garbage can by himself. Something else you also notice that most CEOs never do. And he walks out and he leads you back into the elevator, presses another button, and a couple of minutes later, you're back in his office. And as you walk in, he goes to the two security guards, leave us. And they look at him and they go, are you sure, sir? He's armed. He goes, if he was going to hurt me, he'd hurt me already. He goes, leave me. And so the guys look at you like really hard for a second. They look at each other. And the one guy, you assume the one guy who's probably in charge, just shrugs his head and they walk into the elevator and the door closes. By this point, you see Mr. Maddox.
To be honest, I had a picture in my mind that just happened.
And so by this point, you see Mr. Maddox has sat back down on his desk and he puts his hand over to the chair across the way and please sit down. Let's talk. Now that you're officially a signed act on my label, we can discuss things in more detail.
Henrik is going to sit.
And so as soon as you sit down, you see him press a couple of buttons and you see a display screen come up between the two of you and you see the Tricom Corporation logo come up and he goes, this is Tricom Corporation. He goes, they are very high-end medical service corporation. They do a lot of work for cyber military units, corporate security, high-end military tech, all associated with cyberware, cybernetic replacement bodies. He goes, last year they attempted to make a partnership with me for some research that I was going into, particularly in my cyberpsychosis treatment regimens. He goes, everything seemed fine at first, but a few months ago, earlier last year, I started getting some very disturbing reports about what Tricom was actually doing with some of my research. Took a very long time and a lot of resources, but I was able to determine that Tricom Corporation has been conducting human experimentation with cyberware. Let's just say against people's will. And so,
army of brainwashed soldier kind of way.
Yeah, that's been my assumption as well. It's not been very easy for me to pin down exactly what the purpose is, but it doesn't take a genius to realize what their potential clientele is. Which disturbed me even more. About 6 or 7 months ago, one of my major research facilities was hit, and a very, very important piece of technology was stolen from me. He punches a bunch of buttons. You see basically what looks like a standard cyber deck unit. You only know this because you've seen Kitty's units a few times. And he goes, I've been developing this very, very, very high-end technology. He goes, I was hoping to use this to alleviate or offset the effects of cyberpsychosis during cyber surgery. Um, he goes, I was making really strong headway into it too. It looks like we could actually create a system whereby someone can go through a full body replacement without dealing with the immediate effects of cyberpsychosis. He goes, and then just when I was about to hit the breakthrough, my
The
lab was attacked, and this piece of technology was stolen. I spent the last 7 months trying to figure out where and who has it, and I haven't been able to find it. He goes, the only thing I do know is that Tricom Corporation immediately severed their business relationship with me after the attack, and I haven't been able to get any information from them since. So I suspect they were involved in this somehow. And after I saw your video earlier this week with the clinic and everything, I'm more than convinced that they're the ones that are responsible for all of this. He goes, I'm really concerned. With this piece of technology, they could literally create an army of mindless cyborg drones that could do anyone's bidding. And that's a very dangerous thing.
no one should have access to that kind of technology.
Absolutely not. And so I'm hoping, like I said, we can help each other out. If you can find this piece of technology and get it back for me, that would not only interfere in Tricom's ability to implement this plan, but I'm sure you'll know that it'll also mean a very big egg in the face of Tricom. And he goes, and this is all I gotten. He goes, I know that this project is being handled personally by Miss Prudence, the head of Tricom. The only other name I've ever found associated with this is a Doctor, he's looking through his things, Herschel Kennett. And I've seen his name come through in a couple of documents that I've had access to. I don't understand the nature of their relationship or what the exact program that they're operating on, but I know that he is involved in this somehow.
Oh, I guess for now, we shouldn't really go after them right now. Maybe wait after the Ben contest charity for the new album and all that thing to really plan where to eat and how to do it and to search where they could hide it. Because I made a promise to someone to help their mother from some human trafficking.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Well, yes, obviously, a little bit of a delay will help, and it's too obvious if you start doing and saying things so soon afterwards. Um, he goes, I perfectly agree with you. Well, the charity ball is tomorrow afternoon. I think it'd be safe for you to make the announcement of your new record label deal, and yeah, we'll play it from there.